My cheeks are hurting. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Monday at the Mystical Magical Mansion. This week we're going to find out what we're naming the room right above me. That was the room that, if you watched last week, we're trying to come up with a name, so we gave you 3 choices. The Glencoe Suite, the Dowell Suite, or the Bay Suite. So it was neck and neck. We'll let you know who won that. So we'll tell you in just a second. And then we're going to go down into the bowels of the mansion and go into a room that not many people ever go into, because why would you when you're visiting the mansion? Who wants to see stuff about a boiler? I do. We should do it in front of a big old
It's a nice surprise when
radiator.
Ryan gets to do the introduction for the video, because you guys don't get to see him enough. And he's also incredibly knowledgeable about things like boilers and all the other mechanical parts of the house that I don't
Not
partake
how to
in very
fix them,
much.
just how they work.
He's much more knowledgeable about these things than I am. And he did a really cute little paint job on the radiator in the bathroom, the powder room down here on the first floor, which I'll give you a look at because it did need just a little bit of TLC. What'd you do in here, Ryan?
I painted a radiator.
You cleaned it up. It looks spiffy. It looks shiny and silvery. It was very chippy.
It gives you something to look at when you're sitting here.
Yeah, it also goes really well with the metallic stencil that was in here, which is just kind of a metallic pearl. But just adding that little bit of metallic paint made it look so good. And it's just so pretty. It's a really pretty radiator, but you don't notice it when it's just painted solid white. So yeah, good job. Nice project management.
I've done 1, Kim's done 12. I've
Yeah.
done the smallest one.
So welcome to the boiler room. The place where all of the magic happens that helps to keep the water hot in our house.
Welcome to my boiler room. We need a picture of Freddy Krueger down here. I almost said Freddie Mercury, but that would look odd.
No, we don't need it. Freddy
But
Krueger
yeah,
would make it scary.
like a cool Freddy Krueger picture back here, because this is the boiler room. This
Yeah,
is not a room that many people would ever come into to visit your house.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you it, because why not? Back in the 1900s, the only way you had to heat a house was either with a boiler or fireplaces. So we have both upstairs. And this is our boiler. Now, this is not a boiler from 1910, as you can tell. This is newer. It was replaced by one of the previous owners probably about 9 years ago. But this is where the original boiler sat. If Kim will pan back there, you can see where the original doors were for the coal chutes. They're covered up by those wood planks.
So there's 2 white boards over them right now. Those were the coal chutes.
Those were big iron coal chutes. They're still on the other side. So they would, I don't know how much coal they would put in here, but imagine back then, they would dump coal in there, and then it was somebody's job to come down here and feed the boiler. I don't know how often they had to do that, but they did.
Yeah.
Right now you can hear our boiler is cycling because we're doing laundry upstairs, and this is helping to feed our little water heater here. As you can tell,
There's an extra toilet in the background too, which
Yeah.
is not in use. It's just in storage.
no,
That's unattractive.
point that
but
out.
anyway.
But anyway, this is a basement. This is the stuff that's in a basement. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's a smaller water heater because this boiler is connected to it. So this is basically holding, and that
Overflow.
will fill it up.
Right, and an overflow, right?
Yeah, it's an overflow. So if you use up all this, this will immediately fill it up, so you don't need to have a big water heater. Back in old pictures, you could tell they had a second water heater here, and they didn't need it, so they took it away. But this has been replaced, so instead of the big one that was cast iron, because I talked to the guys that took this out, the people from Ray Martin, and they said it was one of the biggest boilers they've ever taken out, and it was, I forgot how many hundreds of pounds they said, but they had to cut it and break it. So apparently they do something where they fracture this and then they break these big boilers apart, and then they had scrappers come and remove it. And he said he watched these 2 skinny scrapper guys move these huge pieces of iron up and out of this house, which is not a short distance to get here and up these stairs out the back.
Okay.
So now the boiler is quiet because it's not cycling. But what this will do is, so this is all the pipes. So this is the exhaust going out. These are all the pipes. These are the water pipes. These big ones with the insulation that is probably asbestos are the water heater pipes. So these are all going to boiler or
Radiator.
radiators. God, I can't remember that name. Radiators. So we've got radiators upstairs. And when we moved into this house, I read about boilers and tried to figure out, okay, what do I need to know about these? And what I figured out and what I learned is there's 3 types of boiler systems. And the way you figure it out is you look at your radiators. If your radiator has one pipe going into it, you have a steam system. So steam goes up in there, a little ball moves, it fills it up, warms it up, and then when it cools down, that ball condenses, and that's the clunk you hear from radiators. It's a valve. It was just a ball bearing. It would just move up, steam would push it out of the way, it'd fill the radiator, when it cools down, clunk. That's what you hear. Ours is a 2-pipe system. So you look, one pipe's coming in, one pipe's going out. And it's either a combination water or a combination steam water. I believe ours is water because I talked to the guys who put it in. And we have pumps all over the place. So you know to have
These
pumps,
little green things are the pumps.
you have to have a pump to move water. You don't have to have a pump to move steam. Steam will go because it's steam.
Right.
It takes a while, but we have a 3-story house. So this is a water system. I don't know if it was originally set up that way because you can convert it. But this is helping to move the water faster and all the way up to the 3rd floor. Otherwise, it'd take a really long time to heat this house or to get your cold or your warm water from your taps.
So we've got one pump here. There's another one back there, that green one back there.
And there's one over
And then
here by
there's
the
one
water
over
heater.
there by the water heater. Okay.
And then the most important thing, which we learned this year, because apparently, well, new to a house didn't know this little valve.
Yes, this valve.
Because we had them replace our water heater electrical system this year and upgraded it. We had basically a $10 thermostat from Home Depot that was controlling this whole system. But now it's this fancier,
Very fancy.
digital system that now, like,
It's programmable.
you can sit here and do all these things to it, which we don't need to do.
We're not doing.
But anyway, it's supposed to make it more efficient, but when the guys put it in, they've been turning this valve for us because they came every year to
Service
winterize
everything,
and
yeah.
service this house. So they would switch us on, switch. We didn't know this valve. We knew it was here, but it was not labeled like that because we were getting heat in the summertime, and we're like, what is this doing? Why are these? And it was only on the 1st floor. The radiators were getting hot. Well, apparently, when this thing cycles to warm this up, it's enough that it will get, the steam will rise and heat up those
Radiators on the
first
first
level
floor.
radiators. So you have to open and close this to shut off the loop to the house.
So now we have a very sophisticated high-tech system. Closed valve for summer, open for house heat, which we have opened. So when it gets a little nippier, we'll be able to start warming up at night.
Yeah, it kicked on the other night and when it got down to the 50s. And
Yeah.
I have it set now that if it drops below in the 60s, this will kick on to at least
Yeah.
not make it too cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy system.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
I've never had a radiator before, but we don't have just radiators in this house to heat it. Our 2nd floor, 3rd floor, as we probably said in the past, does have an HVAC system, and it's got heat pumps in it, so we can supplement that. But this does still help heat up those rooms.
Yeah.
And helps with the 1st floor. The 1st floor still does get a little cool. But back then, you bundled up, and you didn't hang out too much otherwise. Otherwise,
They
you'd
put fires in the fireplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot water bottles.
Yes, hot water bottles. My wife needs one for her feet, even in the summer.
Always. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so now you all have seen the inner workings of the boiler room.
And there's a lot of pipes.
Yeah. Also down here you have your little workbench, your little place where you do all of your little hobbies down here, and show everybody what you're working on right now.
I'm the king of hobbies. So
Your hobby is hobbies.
we
yes.
were playing golf a couple of weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago now. And this group of people were playing behind us that were in a Hickory Golf League. So a Hickory Golf League is people that play with old clubs, usually from the 1900s, and they dress the part too. So we were talking to these people, and it was very interesting looking at their clubs. So then we went to a antique store, and Kim and I found some. So, and the way you tell if these are real hickory is, well, one, it's a wood shaft, but sometimes you'll have metal shafts that are painted to look like wood. So you want to look at the hosel. The hosel is where the club head meets the shaft. This is the hosel.
Okay.
And a hickory club will bow out at that point. See, it's skinny and it bows out because this is where a lot of force is put on it when you swing. So it won't snap. because this was strong wood back then. This was some of the strongest wood they had, so that's why clubs were made out of hickory. And then the only thing holding it together was just a little pin.
So you've still got the pin. Okay.
So no, this is a pin that I replaced because I took this
Okay.
head off,
Okay.
fixed this shaft, I re-stained it. The shaft was not tight on this, so I had to glue it because that's what you're supposed to do so they don't flex anymore. Back in the day, they didn't glue them, so what did they do? The golfers, if this got loose, would go up and stick this, all the golfers are going to freak out, into a bucket of water.
To
And
make
it
the
would
wood
let
smooth.
this swell and it would hold tight again. But that's not good for metal. So this thing, when I got it, was completely rust covered. And vinegar, if you didn't know, is really great at removing rust. So I just got a little thing here full of diluted vinegar, and I would pop this off and let this soak in there for a day or two, and then just steel wool it off. And this thing was completely covered. You saw it. I think I have a
it was
picture
really
somewhere.
rusty. Yeah. That jar looks creepy, though. I'm just going to say it looks like something.
Don't drink it.
Potentially other
We
than
do have
vinegar.
some moonshine upstairs that looks exactly like that, but it does have a label on it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but don't drink anything, especially down here in the boiler room, or
Yeah.
that looks like this.
So that's the old jar that's been there for Lord knows how long. And
I wish there was an eyeball or
Skippy
something in it, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. It's just there. Have you tried to open it?
No, I don't know
Okay,
what that
we'll
is,
just-
and I don't know
okay.
if I'll get it back on or what I could do
Or
if I
if
can't
it's-
get it back on. Then I'll have this mystery liquid. I'll be like, and I'd have to like go dump it in the neighbor's yard, which would be bad.
Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Okay.
And I like also
So-
down here that they have the old matches thing.
Did you put that rope
No,
in there?
I
Oh,
put that
was
rope in there, yeah,
Okay.
because that's our rope. But
The
this
old
used to
match
hold
one.
matches because they always had to have matches down here for the boiler.
Oh.
Boiler goes out, you got to have something light it. So they just had I'm sure they were stick matches back then, and they probably had to
That's
have them
pretty
down here
cool.
just in case. But imagine somebody down here shoveling.
Coal. Yeah. Yeah, but somebody would have had to be loading and
Yep.
scooping coal.
Moving it from, I'm sure it was just all piled there at the end, and then shoveling it down here.
Wow.
That was a lot of work to keep this house warm back then.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was
Yeah.
a full-time staff and probably somebody who's, and they had to do it out in the carriage house too. And we got coal chutes out there, so they had to have I'm sure, coal trucks coming around how often to dump that in there. But imagine breathing that in down here in this little room.
Yeah. It's crazy. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the tour of the basement, Ryan.
Yeah, all these pipes too are probably asbestos too. So
Yeah.
they've been remediated though. I've been told that's what this white stuff is, but
Okay.
yeah. Welcome to the boiler room.
Okay.
So like I said, when I get into a hobby, I like go full into a hobby because
Yeah.
I have a sickness. My hobby is hobbies. So anyway, these are the rest of the Hickory Clubs. Yes, I even bought a book about how to restore Hickory Clubs, even though you can find it all online. But like this is one that I've fixed up so far. I got to redo the handle because it's loose, but I think I'm going to keep the same leather on here. I'm just going to move and fix this and reaffix it because it's fine. But I redid the head.
That looks pretty.
And the interesting thing is this is just, I'm sure, pure lead.
Wow.
Back in the day, they just poured lead in there to make it weighted on the back to make it swing better. And then they put a little faceplate down here. So, but I've been slowly finding some. I've got almost 2 sets that I've been finding over the past, couple months? Mm-hmm. And then a little retro reproduction bag for it. And they call these ones, these are interesting for any golfers out there that may be watching. They're calling brassies because they put this brass plate on the bottom to make the club last longer from swinging. So they consider what we now call woods, which is
Were
funny,
brassies?
that aren't even made out of wood anymore, were called brassies back in the day because of this brass plate.
Interesting.
Yep, and with a big piece of hunk of lead in the back.
So someday you're going to play in a hickory tournament too, yeah?
Maybe. I don't even play in tournaments regular right now, but at least back then, if I play in a hickory tournament and I play bad, I can blame the clubs because, yeah, why not? You do.
Sure. Okay.
Go. Pow.
Okay, it's the time you've all been waiting for. Last week we nearly broke the internet. The voting was
Nearly broke the
ridiculous.
internet.
Yes.
Watch out,
so-
Kardashians. We're
That's
coming
right.
for you.
We're coming for you. Chip and Joanna Gaines, seriously, old news, right? The Isherwoods are here. Anyway, we had the voting through Facebook,
I don't know what to do with my
Let's see,
hand.
Facebook, YouTube, people who came through the house, clients that I had last week, us, family members, and it was close. It was neck and neck.
It was.
The Bay Suite didn't get as many votes. The Glencoe and the Dowell Suites were right up there, and it was a 2-vote margin. And who was the winner?
I don't know. I didn't see the votes.
Yes, you did.
It's the Dowell Suite.
It's the Dowell Suite. Yay!
So
the bedroom we're in is the Dowell Suite now, which is a tribute to the family who lived here for 60
like 9 years.
9 years? Yeah, a really long time. Wonderful family. And Michael, one of the grandsons, said this was actually his room for a time. So
he can come paint
it. Yes, we will be
Michael
painting. Come on over.
I hope you can edge.
He does not live in Omaha, but becomes.
We got a place for you to stay.
That's right. The Dowell Suite is always open to any of the Dowells or Dowell family. So anyway, thank you to all of you who voted. Thank you for, your suggestions, your ideas. We will be naming one of the other rooms the Glencoe Suite.
She's all down with it now because she wants to plaid out a room. So
yeah, it'll be maybe a little more tartan and a little more Scottish influence because we are the Lord and Lady of Glencoe. It shall be such.
We need some plaid.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you to everyone. It was really fun. This is a joy to get to do things like this and have you guys all participate with us. So anyway, this week, I hope you will go do something really fun. Start a hobby like,
Anything.
I don't know, anything like one of his 90 hobbies.
I should write a book on how to start a hobby.
Yes. Spear making, golf club restoring. What is some of your golf?
Coins.
Guitars.
Yeah,
Lots of guitars.
lots of stuff.
Yeah, so I hope this week you will do something that feels a little more elevated, whether that's just to get out the things that you already have and maybe revisit some of your old hobbies.
I got them.
Or just do something new and fun. And
I do have a model ship I need to build.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so let yourself just have some joy this week. We're going to be enjoying this fall weather and trying to squeak in maybe a porch party or two before the weather gets too cold. So thank you all again. Stay well and best wishes from the Mystical Magical Mansion.
Cue music until I chop you onto the cutting room floor. Hey everybody, it's Monday at the Mystical Magical Mansion.
Okay, these are good for outtakes.
Really, my cheeks are hurting. Hey, just keep rolling.
Introduce the Mystical Magical Mansion.
I can't do it. You might as well pause that for just a second.